Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to COVID Car Chat number 6. Can you believe it? We're already on episode number 6, and we're speaking to the lovely Lize from Lilac Photography. Hi, Lize.
Hello.
Lize, you didn't start out in the photography business. You were a high school teacher, if I'm not mistaken. So how did you decide to make photography your full-time job? Has it always been a passion? Or how did you get into the wedding industry as a photographer?
So I always wanted to do photography since school days, and it was one of my school subjects. It was seventh, I don't know if you remember, but we had 6 subjects, and it was my extra one, and I really loved it, and I really wanted to do it for my whole life. But at that stage, and you have to think back to the year 2000, 20 years ago, it was not seen as a very good career path. And lots of people and psychologists and whoever said it's not a good way to start a career. Maybe do it as a hobby. It's better as a hobby. And so I decided, you know what, I can still always do photography. So no matter what I do, I can always follow my passion anyways. And that's how it all started. I studied in Stellenbosch for languages, and did a postgrad on teaching, and I was a teacher for 8 years. And during that time, everyone asked me to take photos for them, and it started to be a business on the side, and I couldn't do both of them. So as soon as I started my family, I decided when I do that, I'll have to just do photography, and that's what happened.
Amazing. And the name Lilac Photography, tell us a little bit about that.
So my name's Lize, as you know, and my mom used to call me Lila, and lots of my family members as well, and 2 of my very precious cousins called me Lilac. And when the business started booming on the side, I was suddenly sitting there thinking, I have to get a name for my business. And because they were also 2 of my first clients, it just felt natural to call it Lilac. So it's just another name for me, I guess.
Lize, so you are a mommy of 3, and I'm sure today's pick-me-up comes in handy quite often during the day, and to just keep the energy levels going. So tell us a little bit more about what you chose as your pick-me-up and why.
Okay, so if you can read here, this is specifically chosen for today. Can you read it?
Your coffee be stronger than your toddlers. Amen to that.
So always coffee first. And if you don't feel better, another one. I think this is my 3rd double shot coffee for today.
Wow.
And interestingly enough, I don't really feel any effect. So I can drink this and go to bed, and I don't feel anything. But apparently that changes after 40, and I'm not there yet. So
My goodness.
the verdict.
Talking about budget, could you let us in behind the scenes of what actually goes into photography? I think a lot of times people just think you pitch up on the day, you click away, and you get the end product, but there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes. And that is what makes up the total cost of a quote. So could you please explain some of the ins and outs and some of the factors that make up a budget or make up a quote from your side?
Okay, so Leo and I really try to keep our costs as low as possible. I can go on and on about how much it costs, and I will break that down for you a little bit later. But we get lots of questions from clients and prospective clients, and even wedding planners asking us why we give such a comparative quote for 2 photographers. What's wrong? What are we missing? And we are just trying to keep it as low as possible because we want people to afford our services and to get more than what they've bargained for. We don't want to just add a price tag because the industry asks that from us. We want to be fair, and we also want people to see our photos as a gift, although they're paying for it, that it's not something that's too expensive and something you could have gotten better at a better price somewhere else, but that you feel that, wow, I've paid this in comparison to that, and I have gotten more than I bargained for. And of course I'm biased, but the photographs and also video, that's quite an important thing for a wedding, and that's the only thing, apart from hopefully your husband, that you keep with you for the rest of your life. So that's a really important job. I do think it's a very important job to capture those moments. So to give you an idea, we are 2 photographers, so we have 2 cameras and 1 extra camera as a backup if something happens to one of the cameras. Our gear is valued more than both our cars combined. We have to actually insure it, and it needs to be specified. So every single thing we use is extra to pay every single month. I had to think about everything, and I'm sure I'm missing some of these costs or some of what makes up for wedding photography. But the insurance is one thing, the gear. We have big servers with like, I think 30 terabytes of storage, storing everything and making sure that if you lose your photos in 5 years, we still have the copy. So I still have a wedding from, I think 2010, so we keep everything, we try and keep everything. And that costs a lot of money, and also it takes a lot of time updating all of that. Website and hosting, of course, we haven't spent a lot of time on our website lately just because we need to get ahead of our editing. So we'd rather give our clients our edits now, and then I'm sure during COVID-19 our website will also be updated soon. But website and hosting is another thing. Maintenance of our gear, it costs quite a lot just to have them looked at once a year. So that takes quite a lot of money. And the other thing that there's two other things. The one thing is the amount of hours that goes into it from the very beginning until the very end. It's not just adding one preset to all the photos. It doesn't work. I have tried it. It doesn't work. You have to sit with every single photo. And because I want to give you more than what you thought, I always edit more. It's difficult for me because it takes your wedding or my client's wedding will take as much time as maybe 2 weddings. But to me, it's so important to give you a full range of your wedding and not just snippets of the day. That was something that was important to me, and that's the one thing that I carry to my clients. Basically, we are sometimes the best bridesmaid in the house. And I'm sure lots of my clients can tell you more about that. But it's not just about taking photos at all. It's about being support. The photographers are with a couple more than anyone else on the wedding day. And yes, we love what we do, and I hope that it shines through in our manner on the day and also after.
Lize, thank you so much for your time today. I think so often Sanal and I you know, we plan the whole wedding, and the photographers, we sort of book them with a 50%, and then we see them on the day, but your work really only starts once the wedding is done, you know, and then it's the hours and hours of editing. And I think something that I can definitely say from Lilac's work is definitely that a person can see your heart in your work. And I know you also put so much effort into packaging. You know, the people really get an awesome little gift when they get their photos at the end, and I think that's super special. And I think I know that the brides love and appreciate it, and they will use you again and again and again after that. Like we've seen, you know, you get continuous business from your couples, and then it's their babies, and then it's the you know, all the things that follow after that. So thank you so much for letting us in today and just shedding some light on what goes on behind the scenes. We really hope and trust that we can work with you in 2021.
Thanks, ladies. It was so awesome speaking to you. You know, I love both of you so much, from the industry side as well as being mothers like me. So just thank you for this awesome new opportunity, and I can really commend you on what you're doing with what we have right now. It's a very weird time for all of us, but we can only pull together and become closer and be a stronger industry after this.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
good luck to you as well.
And for the rest,
Bye.
there's always coffee.
And yes, and I wanted to say, I don't have much left, but cheers to doing weddings together, and lots of them.
Yes.
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 Cheers.